Thank you, my friend. That's, thank you, Ashok. That's some true DevOps love. And do you like the way he shifted left straight off that stage? I get the pleasure of talking about a very cool topic, which is ultimately enhancing customer experience with Agile operations. You've had some ice cream today, you've had a couple of discussions with numerous people, and I'm going to have some fun with you. I'm going to talk a little bit about my experiences and how I'm experiencing the application economy. I mean, we talk about software driving the business, and the business being rewritten by software. Really, customer experience is everything, and that's really important for you to note. It's clear that you went through a journey to get here today. A number of you flew in on various different airlines. Some of you would have taken a taxi. You would have had a digital experience to get here. That is a touch point between you and an organization. That's an opportunity for that organization to delight. And as we go through our journeys every day, there's opportunities for customers to delight us. However, it's a very, very short frame of time where they can disappoint us. And if they disappoint us, very quickly we will change brand loyalty. We will look for a better customer experience. Some of you know me, some of you don't know me. We're having dinner tonight, and I have no doubt that we'll get to know each other a little better. But those of you that do know me will know that I do enjoy drinking wine. I'm assuming a number of you enjoy your wines, and you may or may not have heard of an application called Vivino. Has anybody heard of Vivino?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Thank you very much. I was expecting the Aussie guys to know. Vivino, come on. Vivino's a great application. It enables you to take a photo of a wine label, and it uses optical character recognition to tell you more about that wine. It'll tell you facts about the wine, it'll tell you, prices about the wine, and you can rate the wine. You can have a community of your friends that you get together, and you can share wines that you both enjoy. So really, it goes to show that we really are in this world of software and applications. Even drinking wine has become a software experience. This is another one that I love. I'm fortunate to travel to Japan quite often, and as you can see, I have a love for Tokyo Banana. For those of you that don't know what Tokyo Banana is a gift. It is a wonderful little cake. It's a Twinkie on steroids. It's everything that I look for in a snack that's a sweet snack. There's an application called Airfrov, which not many of you, I think, would have heard of. It's a small Singaporean startup, and what they do is really crowdsourcing products. So if I cannot get to Japan and I'm craving my Tokyo Banana, I can ask someone who is going to Japan to bring Tokyo Banana back for me, and I can stipulate a price. This is the price that I'm prepared to pay. Now, it's not just Japan; it's anywhere in the world. If I want biscuits from Harrods in the United Kingdom, or I wanted some of my favorite biltong from South Africa, I can pop that up on Airfrov, and somebody can accept that opportunity to make a little bit of money on their travels. Think of backpackers. How amazing is that? You can fund your travel from an application. So even Tokyo Banana is a software experience. The application economy really means new and unprecedented demands for IT. We're seeing this unprecedented speed, and as you can see there, 94% of executives face increased pressure to release apps more quickly. The proliferation of apps is huge, and I'll talk through some of the numbers a little later. But ultimately, we still expect that exceptional customer experience. 25% of users will ban a web application after just 3 seconds of delay. And we heard this morning when we spoke about 6 seconds, and it was 6 feet under, right? That's the reality. We lead busy lives. It's a competitive market. our expectations are extremely high. So this leads us into DevOps. And how do we measure the success of DevOps? Ultimately, we can put people, processes, and technology together where we can build relevant and fast and quality applications. But how do we measure that? And the measurement is really user experience. We're measuring the experience that all of you have when you use a mobile application, when you use your internet banking, when you online check-in at the airport. So truly, customer experience is everything. And there's a number of key statistics up over here. 49% of users expect apps to respond in 2 seconds or less. 61% of users expect apps to load in 4 seconds or less. 63% of users expect apps to be relevant, engaging, meeting a genuine need. Because guess what? These days it's really easy to go and download a new app. You guys could be sitting right here and download a new app. I bet you someone's already downloaded Vivino. I bet you someone's already trying to look for Airfroth. Yeah? Come on, own up. So I'm going to talk about another personal experience. And I've been warned, I've been told I need to caveat this in no uncertain terms. This is my boarding pass from a trip that I took from Seoul, Korea to Singapore. It's important that I mention this was not a Korean airline. It's also important for me to mention that every other airline at Incheon Airport was functioning correctly. Now that I've got that caveat out of the way, let me tell my story. I like to get to the airport with as little time as possible left for boarding. So I really time my approach to the airport like a plane times the approach to the runway. 1 hour before my flight is when I like to get to the airport. I'd already done online check-in, but I don't print out my boarding passes, which is common. I'm sure a number of you go through that process. I got to the airport, there were massive queues. There's never huge queues. Anyway, eventually I get to the front of the check-in, and I get asked for my passport details. And the person behind the counter proceeds to handwrite my boarding pass. Now, clearly I'm a little bit shocked. I go, okay, that's what it is. And they present me with my boarding pass. They say their systems are down. Their applications are not performing. I go, okay. What you'll notice of this ticket, I have just grayed out what the airline code is because that would have given it away. But there is nothing formal about this. There's no airline stamp. There's no logo. There's nothing on this ticket. Imagine how much fun I had when I got to security, right? In fact, they held me up security so long that I missed my flight, or I thought I'd missed my flight. Got through customs, went to the gate expecting to look to book another ticket on a later flight. Lo and behold, there wasn't anybody there. Nobody could get through security. Everybody was delayed. The flight was delayed. An hour and a half. The cost to that airline of sitting on the tarmac at Incheon is huge, right? What about my brand loyalty? That's huge as well, right? So this really leads us into agile operations and monitoring. This is a huge market. Gartner has some analysis on the market, and although these are 2015 statistics, they haven't released 2016. They recognize it as an $8.4 billion market. More importantly, what Gartner recognizes now is that there is a market for DevOps, not just monitoring per se. And you can see that's almost a $500 million market that's growing 8+% per year. And they also recognize that APM, application performance monitoring or management, is key to this process with 16%, almost 16% annual growth rate for application performance monitoring. As we enter in the application economy, new digital transformation initiatives are driving how we view DevOps. And as part of DevOps, the agile operations part is extremely important. We talk about three things, and these three tenets are really important for how rapidly applications are getting out to market. We talk about speed, we talk about scale, and we talk about quality. It's important to get those applications to market quickly, as those executives have mentioned. It's important that they scale to the infrastructure that you're putting those applications on. But they have to be quality applications. And that quality is what will build your customer experience and delight your customers. Just to increase on that point, ultimately, businesses are looking to be outcome driven, it's no longer just about configuring those monitoring tools. We talk about monitoring the monitors. On average, organizations have 29 monitoring tools. That's a huge overhead on your IT operations department. So clearly, we need to have tools that scale. We want to make sure that we can quickly get those to market, and as we mentioned, the quality. No more of the blame games, pointing the finger at different people in the organization. Here's a great quote from one of our customers in Australia, is ANZ Bank, and it's truly really about keeping the lights on, in fact it's probably more than keeping the lights on. And I'm going to read this because it's really that was their light bulb moment. Getting that insight in production is fantastic, but what is perhaps more brilliant is getting that insight in development and their test environments. We have been able to show that by moving monitoring into development and test, making it part of the process in those areas, you can stop defects from getting into production. The world has changed. A number of years ago, we did performance monitoring in production. Not anymore. DevOps leads us to have an earlier conversation between dev and ops. That's why Ashok and I are so close. Ultimately, if we can monitor in pre-production, we can find those defects earlier on in their cycle, and we can solve those problems before they get to the customer, before it's front-facing, before we lose any of that brand loyalty. Here's another example, TriZetto. TriZetto is a healthcare company in the US. They're one of the largest healthcare providers. I think they manage about 250,000 care providers across the United States. They wanted to simplify business for their customers. They had loads of disparate monitoring tools. It was taking them between 2 and 4 hours to triage a call, right? And that's a decent amount of time through an infrastructure. And they were doing swivel chair monitoring. You've heard the term swivel chair monitoring, when you've got these 16 dashboards and you're sitting on your chair and you swivel around to see where the problems lie. Classic example. They did a 2-day proof of concept on CA's UIM, our Unified Infrastructure Monitoring Solution. And within 60 days, they had 10,000 devices under management. The benefits for them, as you can see over there, 60% less time monitoring the monitoring tools. More importantly, they avoided 18 outages. Now, that's 18 times that customers didn't have to call in and complain about their services. 76% reduction in resolution time, 60% less time managing the monitors, and they had 140 different technologies under management. These are true benefits that organizations are seeing from adopting Agile operations. I'll talk to you about another case study. I like this one because this is a true DevOps story, a National Australia Bank in Australia. Their challenge was that their dev teams were troubleshooting one of their loggings for one of the banking applications. They had huge delays, heavy resource intensive to troubleshoot. They deployed CA application performance management in pre-production. It was fast, scalable. After 5 days, they had 80 servers under management. And it took them 2 hours to build a service-centric dashboard. That means they were getting value immediately from the solution. Within an hour, they identified several problems. What this gave them was the ability to pinpoint where those transaction problems were. They didn't have to look at 30 different transactions. They could focus on the 2 where they were having problems. This is giving time back to the business. They eliminated the need to investigate over 10 back-end systems. And more importantly, they improved the app performance login time by 2 seconds. Now, doesn't sound like a lot, but when 6 seconds is 6 feet under, 2 seconds is a lot, right? So why did they choose CA? They chose us for the best choice for heterogeneous environments. We have the ability to run from mobile to the mainframe. And ultimately, CA defined the APM market. We acquired the Wiley solution a number of years ago. I'll just finish off with a couple of recent announcements that we made at CA World in Las Vegas in November. The first, and for me is one of the most important, was our new release of CA Application Performance Management. This is the biggest release that we've had since we acquired Wiley in 2006. We have, as you can see, patents pending. We have huge amounts of innovation that went into this release. We actually spent time with our customers. Can you believe it? We sat with 80 different people across 17 customers in a study that we ultimately termed cultural anthropology. Cultural anthropology is the study of human beings in their natural environment. We did that with our customers. We understood how it is that they're using their monitoring tools. And through that, we came up with innovation, patent pending designs around relationship views, allowing users to have access to information that only they need. That ultimately means we could have less experts in the organization, and we could spread the love. Timeline views, where we can go back in time to when a particular issue happened, a particular change. We call this identifying patient zero, right, in medical terms. It's, can you find that original person? And that's ultimately what timeline views allows us to do. And then we've got differential analysis. Not the easiest thing to explain, but for those of you that know monitoring and understand monitoring solutions, when you look at a dashboard, there's often a whole lot of red in organizations that have lots of problems. The question is, where do you go first? How red is red? And using statistical analysis, we hired a team of data scientists that are employed by CA Technologies, and we use that to now automatically align baselining so that we can find out how red is red. UIM, we announced the latest release of our CA Unified Infrastructure Management Solution. We've included a gateway between UIM and APM to give you end-to-end visibility across applications, as well as servers, database, storage, network, cloud environments. We've integrated with big data analytics, Hadoop and Cassandra, and MongoDB, for example. And we've also created a monitoring marketplace where our own customers and partners, when they develop probes for various different tie-ins to applications, they can go and represent those there. We also announced CA Unified Infrastructure Management for Z Systems, which truly makes CA unique in the marketplace. We can monitor from mobile all the way through to the mainframe. We don't just talk about it, we can do it. We announced the CA solution for SDN, which is CA Virtual Network Assurance. You'll understand there's a big push. A lot of the telcos are going to software-defined networking, and to be able to have that visibility and monitor across both physical and virtual infrastructure has become increasingly important. And then finally, I'll leave you with this, which is CA Mobile Application Analytics. And I'm glad that I'm ending on mobile application analytics, because it's actually one of my favorite solutions in that it represents everything that you and I know about applications. It allows us to do crash analytics, usage and user experience analytics, and performance analytics. And what that actually means is we can actually understand the exact moment when a user drops off a mobile application, so we can pinpoint that problem. We can also get statistics around users where we know what mobile device they're coming in with, whether it's an iOS device or an Android device, for example. We know what network that they're utilizing. And this market is huge. When we look at some of the statistics around app sales, It's a $30 billion market at the moment, right? 3 million apps available on iOS and Android, 165 billion app downloads, right? But the number one word that occurs in 1-star reviews, anybody know what the number one word is? That
Slow?
crashes. Crashes. 1-star reviews, crashes. And by having the access to early intervention, that ultimately helps organizations alleviate that 1-star review and ultimately end up delighting their customers. As I finish, I'm out of time. I've got flashing lights and zeros, and I clearly have to get off the stage. I just want to leave you with the fact that what we do around agile operations as part of DevOps is really delighting customers, making sure that you get an exceptional experience when you interact with your customers. So I'd like to thank you for your time. I'd like to invite Ashok to come up on stage, and we're happy to take any questions if you want to throw any at us. Thank you. We're going to take a seat for this.
Yes.
There we go.
The question I have for you is, a lot of DevOps relies on the ability to split the development process efficiently. But how do you make sure that when you are able to split it without creating the dependencies? So very often it happens that developer A is waiting for developer B to finish something before he can get started. So how does DevOps help to address that problem?
So yeah, so I think that's one of the constraints that I was talking about, right? So, and the dependency, that's the dependency aspect that you talked about, which leads to...
So this is dependency within the team itself, as opposed to dependency outside, which you said you can do synthetic modeling and perhaps get over that.
Sure. So here's the way it works, right? Suppose there are different developers are working on different aspects of the code, and once you've built up a certain level of code base, we are now able to virtualize that code base and then start to represent the kind of feedback. And what we call is, this is a service virtualization terminology, where we are running request response pairs between two dependent systems, which is then now used for the purposes of testing by software developer A. So while we can talk about the broader concept of DevOps, I think there is one straight away a mechanism that can be utilized to address that. And there could be others. I mean, there are data sets that we can provision and so on and so forth as well. But that's one topic that comes on mind. The second part is really the continuous integration aspects. I think the continuous integration aspects is a part of your development lifecycle where traditionally people were not checking in code, and even when the check-in process was working, how you manage the code check-in process led to these kinds of confusions. That process has become more streamlined now. So the existing, so software developer A in this example can start working with, the previous version of the code that's been checked in, and then continue on as if, with the other techniques that I talked about, build on his code base and then check that in and so on and so forth. So there are some real meaningful tools that address those exact issues that you talked about.
Okay. The other thing is, which you mentioned, that it is possible to have these synthetic APIs for external systems. Now, who builds those? For instance, let's say you are a travel portal and you are building your software, and you need to integrate with the payment gateway of the airline system or the hotel system. Now, who will build this synthetic response set which the other system is supposed to give you?
So let's talk about it very clearly. The API piece is your first part of the question. So today, if you look at most businesses, okay, everybody has got an API subpage. So it's an api.company.com. So those API pages are open to the developer community at large, and it could be, of course, there's an authentication process, you could register or whatever. So who builds those APIs is those enterprises that wants to open up their organization to the outside development community. Where we come into the picture is that API that is being developed needs to be tested and make sure that it functions as advertised. And that's where we come in with our capabilities to make sure that the API testing is done thoroughly, rigorously, and so forth.
That is, if I want to publish an API.
Yes. Yes.
From your experience, which one is the most difficult for deploy the DevOps solution? Thank you.
I'm going to give you an answer which you probably won't like, but it varies according to the organization, to be perfectly honest with you. You know, if you talk, and this is where I'm saying, if you listen to me, that the development organization will point to saying there's not enough testing, or the testing team will say the code that is being developed is not well developed, or the ops team will say that, you know, it has not been tested properly and we don't know. So in my experience, I would say that where people generally start first is perhaps in the area of making sure that they're automating the deployment process. Okay, that's a part which oftentimes people really feel the pain. And that starts up by acknowledging there is a clear issue because I'm taking way too long to deploy my code, and they start with that. But if you ask Richard, he would say that, you know, there are performance types of issues that needs to be, you know, fixed. So you've got to be able to identify where the problem occurred.
Yeah, I think one of the aspects is also around the cultural element of dev and ops actually getting on, right? There's always been a big divide between development and operations. So being able to close that gap culturally is you know, organizations find that really difficult. But the advantages are immense, as you can see by some of the case studies, that the benefits that, you know, when we take shift left, when we actually move operations closer into the development life cycle, we get huge benefits from doing that. Surely there must be more questions. I've even got this once in a lifetime opportunity to win one of these little flags for the best question. Come on, who's got a question?
The divine flag.
It is indeed.
Okay.
And have more questions? All right.
Any additional insights to share, gentlemen?
Sure.
Well, I think obviously there's a lot of interest and a lot of adoption already underway, and this is a journey. I think the point that we need to point out and we should probably take away from here is that it is going to be a new way for software to be written and developed and deployed. That's for sure. But it's going to take some time. So, but the benefits it's not incremental benefits. The other key takeaway, these are orders of magnitude of difference that we're talking about. The little game that Rob and Shenyang played that showed you that, you know, the teams are, just by using agile methodologies, it was more than half better than your previous throughputs. So that's itself is a great improvement. Now on top of that, if you look at the benefits from service virtualization and release automation, each of them are seeing, you know, half the time to develop software. You know, 3 times, you know, faster deployment speeds, 4 times faster deployment speeds. So it's not 10% improvement or 15% improvement. These are really, really radical ways in which you can improve the performance of the organization. And that's the key takeaway I would suggest from a continuous delivery mindset.
Oh, we do have another question.
One question, which is that does having DevOps mean that as users we are living in a continuous state of beta? Because I don't understand why Facebook or anybody needs to do 1,000 deployments a month. I mean, is the software so bad? I mean, I'm frustrated with, you know, having a few apps on my mobile and you keep getting these updates every day.
Yes.
It's just frustrating for a customer.
I think, you know, there's certainly an element of innovation that's occurring, right? You know, the
No,
expectations.
innovation, I agree.
The
but I don't see that.
expectations, the expectations of customers today are immense. But yeah, ultimately, when we look at some of these release cycles, a lot of them are correcting problems that exist in code, right? And if we can, you know, quite easily and early alleviate some of those problems through early intervention in dev, in pre-prod. Ultimately, we can resolve a number of those problems and have less of those, those releases coming through. So certainly from the agile operations perspective, that's the value that we bring to the table, is that early intervention, so that we're not throwing out a number of those updates to you. I think Ashok, you'll be able to talk.
Yeah, no, and I think it's not that the software is bad as much as, and it's not even just innovation, whereas that is happening. Bear in mind that the technology building blocks to release an app are many. So whether it's an iOS app or an Android app, the versions of Android themselves are going through patches and so forth. So when you're developing that changes. And the back-end systems that are being used, it could be Java-based, it could be a Linux application system, it could be a so it's really a continuous sequence of events that are changing in each of those areas. I mean, I've been running development shops for a long time. When you're trying to release an application, the kinds of considerations you have to make, even the browser on which you're trying to release is going to go through a change potentially on the day you're releasing. Okay, a development team starts by saying, my basic browser of choice is going to be Chrome, but I've got to test on IE, I've got to test on Safari, I've got to test on Firefox, etc., and multiple versions. So that's the level of complexity. Same holds true for the mobile platforms. So it's not an easy task that we're trying to sort of look at. And then on top of that, you layer in the features that you want to bring in, performance improvements and so forth. You've got a valid justification for this kind of stuff. One other point is, it's not, let's say when people are deploying 40,000, 50,000 times a month, it's not like everything will be exposed to the end user. These could be deployments that are not going to answer your previous question, hold up other people in cases, right? So those deployments could be in development, it could be in integration testing, it could be in UAT and so forth. So there's numerous reasons why the number of it's important to do it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
That's a wrap for the DevOps session.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Appreciate your time.